Okay, example 2, solving absolute value inequalities. So this equation differs a little bit from the one that we just did, because you'll notice here that we have the 3x in absolute value symbols, but over here we have the plus 5. So only the stuff within the absolute value symbols do we have choices. In other words, all the stuff inside the absolute value could be positive, or all the stuff inside the absolute value could be negative. So only the stuff in the absolute value has choices. The plus 5, obviously there's no choice. So before we split this apart into two separate equations, we have to do something first. Alright, so let's get rid of all this red, and let's start to solve this equation. So the first thing we're going to do is subtract 5 from each side. So now we have, I'm going to kind of move over here a little bit. So I have 3x in my absolute value symbols, and then 6 minus 5 is 1. Okay, now at this point we can split this apart into two separate equations. That means 3x can be greater than or equal to 1, or 3x is less than or equal to negative 1. Remember here I switched the sign. And remember here, I also switched the sign here, so we'll just call these things switched. Okay, so when you do the right-hand side, switch the sign and then switch the value of this. All right, let's get rid of that stuff. This eraser's kind of cool here. Go back to the pen, and then negative 1. Okay, let's solve this one. Divide both sides by 3. So we have x greater than or equal to 1/3. Divide both sides by 3 on the second equation. So x is less than or equal to negative 1/3. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Let's draw our number line. Goes on to infinity over there. There's negative infinity over here. Alright, so here's negative 1/3. And here's positive 1/3. Alright, so let's look at this piece first. So x can be greater than or equal to 1/3. So here's 1/3. So here's greater than or equal to. I'm going to create a solid circle there, because it includes 1/3, and it's greater than, so it goes to the right. Now let's look at the piece over here on the left. So we have less than or equal to, so that's a closed solid circle. Negative 1/3. So closed solid circle at negative 1/3, and then it's less than, so it goes to the left. Okay, so now let's write this in interval notation. So x can be all those values from negative infinity up to negative 1/3. It includes negative 1/3 because we have this greater than or equal to symbol there, which is also right there. There's a parenthesis on the negative infinity, because there's always a parenthesis on the negative infinity. And here's our little u symbol, including 1/3 up to infinity. So that's how we write that in interval notation to solve this problem.